Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make Chiikawa in this tutorial. Here are some important information you're going to need for this tutorial. Also, there is a written pattern in the description, so please check that out. So for round 1, we're going to be making 8 single crochet in a magic circle. And again, in this tutorial, I'm not going to be showing how to make any stitch except for the bobble stitch later on. So if you don't know any stitches in this video, I have a bunch of tutorials in the description, so please do check that out. For round 2, we're going to make 8 increases, so just 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. Don't forget to add your stitch marker at the end of the round so we don't forget. Now we go to round 3, which is on the screen now. You can follow this. Round 4 on the screen as well. You can just follow that as well. Okay, now I'm just going to move the stitch marker up so it's easier for me to see the end of the round. And we're going to single crochet all around, but I'm going to skip this part so we can save some time and go straight to round 6. Round 6 is on screen. You can follow that as well. This is just so basically we get a very oval shape at the end. And now for rounds 7 to 10, I'm just gonna single crochet all around, but I'm gonna do this off screen so it's faster as well. Okay, so now that we're done with all of the 4 rounds that we had to do, 7 to 10, I'm gonna move the stitch marker up towards the end of the round, just so it's easier to see again. And now we're going to do round 11, which is on screen. We're going to start decreasing here now. Round 12, single crochet all around, but I'm going to skip again so it's faster. Now it's round 13. As you can see on screen, you can follow that. Now the next part is going to be a little tricky, but it's really simple. I'm just going to explain it here. For round 14A, we're going to make the single crochet decrease times 8 on the back loops only. So don't use both of the loops, just use the back loop as seen here for my demonstration. So my decrease looks really unconventional here because I just found it to be easier rather than the typical 2 front loops decrease, invisible decrease that I do. You can use anything that suits you or is comfortable for you as long as it decreases it. Like, it really doesn't matter as long as you follow the instructions there. At this point, we want to start stuffing its head, so it's easier. It's going to be way easier to do it now rather than later. Just stuff it as full as you can, keeping that oval shape. I like to do like the donut method, I guess, just kind of going on the outsides and then stuffing the middle when I'm satisfied. And now, round 14B, we're going to use the front loops only of the previous round. So as you can see, my hook, that's where you should put it inside. You're not going to put it here. Okay, you're not going to put it there. You're going to put it here, right there, on that loop. Okay, now we're making the final stitch of round 14B on the slip stitch. So it's a little difficult, but it's okay. And now we can move the stitch marker there towards at the end of the round. And round 15 to 18, we're just going to single crochet all around. And I'm going to skip this and I'll come back to you when I'm done with the 4 rounds. Okay, so now that we're done with the 4 rounds, I'm just going to move my stitch marker up. Now we're going to go to the second to last round. We're going to make a bobble stitch, yarn over, go through the loop, yarn over and pull through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. And then yarn over and pull through 2 loops only. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, go inside the same stitch, yarn over, pull through. Now you're going to have 4 loops. We're gonna pull through 2, and so you're gonna have 3 loops on your stitch now. Again, yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, and now you're gonna have 5 stitches on your hook. At the end, we're gonna basically have 7 loops on our hook. We're gonna repeat this process until we have that 7 loops on our hook. So yarn over, go inside the same stitch, yarn over, and then pull through, and then pull through 2. Gonna make the last double crochet here. Basically, yeah, it's basically just a bunch of double crochets. Okay, now we have that 7. Gonna yarn over and pull through all 7 of those loops. Make sure you don't get like any fraying ends there. And next we're going to make that decrease, single crochet decrease times 7, as you can see on the screen, to finish off the round. Also make sure to push out the bobble stitch in case you haven't already. This is going to be our tail. Finally, we're going to do the last round, which is basically just 8 decrease. You should probably stuff at this point, not be like me, doing the decreases first. It's a little too late, but yeah, just start stuffing the body once you get to the last round here, or basically wherever you want to, as long as it gets stuffed properly. We're going to make a slip stitch, fasten off, and leave a medium tail so we can close the hole and weave in our ends. So taking your yarn needle, you're just going to go into the front loops of the last round in like a zigzag motion, as you can see on the screen. Okay, at this point I feel like he needed a bit more stuffing, so I just quickly took more stuffing before I fully closed the hole. This is just really up to preference. And we're done with the head and body. There you go. Next, we're going to make the ears. I already put the pins for the left ear, but basically same thing on the right ear. Just going to make it on between rounds 3 to 4 and 4 to 5. Gotta make sure it's centered as well. Now you want to take your hook and insert your hook into the pinned stitch right there. So round 4 to 5 for the right ear. Now you're gonna take the yarn. You're gonna yarn over, pull through, and you're gonna chain 1. On the next stitch, we're gonna make 2 double crochets and a slip stitch in the same stitch, as you can see on the screen. Okay, now that we're done, we're gonna just fasten off and leave like a medium tail so we can tie off the ends later. For the left ear, it's basically the same, except you put your hook into between round 3 to 4. You're just gonna do the same thing. You take your yarn, you pull it through, and then you chain 1, and in the next stitch 2 double crochet and a slip stitch in the same stitch. Then you're gonna want to fasten off and tie off the ends. So now we're going to make the face, which is usually the most time consuming part for me, but maybe it's because I use felt, but you can use anything that is comfortable for you. I'm speeding this up by a lot because I don't know, I spent a lot of time on this actually. Yeah, I just basically took like small parts of felt and made it into smaller parts, smaller shapes. I always use a reference for making the faces and stuff. I cannot remember from memory, so I definitely recommend doing that. I like to just kind of roughly figure out like where it should go. Actually my face is a little off-centered, so make sure that your face is not going to be off-centered. Here I actually took some black embroidery thread, cut like a pretty long amount to make all of the details. Obviously, again, up to preference. I used to make my face completely out of felt, but I realized like I think the embroidery makes it a lot easier, so that's just what I decided to do here. Now I want to pin my eyes into place first just so they don't fly off, and so I remember where they are. Now I take my smallest yarn needle because we're gonna have to go in between stitches and stuff, so you want something that's pretty small. I'm using a needle that's also a little, it's not completely straight and pointed, I just find it to be easier for me, but definitely use whatever is comfortable for you. I'm gonna make the nose first here as kind of like a guiding point. I like to make guide points first whenever I make a face, just so I know like how to gauge it, stuff like that. Honestly, for this part, I'm just using my logic. I'm not sure. I just kind of use my feeling for this kind of stuff. Anything to do with embroidering faces and making faces, like I just kind of use my instinct, so, or copy the reference as much as I possibly can. So definitely use a reference. Don't worry if it's not nice. Definitely takes a lot of practice. For the eyebrows, it's basically just 1 stitch wide, and also for the bottom of the mouth, as you can see there. Then I'm gonna make the cheek lines. Chiikawa has 4 cheek lines. Everyone else also has 4 cheek lines, I'm pretty sure. So I'm just gonna do that. Now that everything's embroidered, I want to paste my face. I usually like to do the gluing part, right? Like at the very end or towards the end, when I'm sure that I like how everything is and I like how everything's in place, because gluing is very permanent. I recommend you guys do that too. Now I'm just snipping off a part of the eye that I didn't like that was sticking out. Okay, so I want to make tears for him. I don't know, I think it's cute, so I'm just doing that. It's optional, obviously. Again, this is all just feeling and looking at a photo, reference photo. Okay, so now it's the fun part. We can actually put blush on him. I take an really old blush of mine, like one I don't use anymore. It's very much expired, and then I just lightly like dabble it on his face. Okay, now I'm gonna make the arms and legs. It's the same pattern for the arms and legs. It's very stubby arms and legs. As you can see, that is how we make it on the screen. Very basic techniques. You can just follow it there. Now you want to make sure that you made 4, 2 arms, 2 legs, and I like to pin everything in place. Obviously it's optional again, but it just makes sure that everything is properly centered and aligned and where I want it to be. Okay, I just sewed everything in place as my pins, as I put it on my pins basically. This is what he'll look like. Obviously feel free to just like play around with his limbs and stuff. I just put him like this. Now we're gonna make the special pouch. I'm gonna use like a pink, nice soft pink color, and this technique might be a little unconventional if you're a beginner, but it's basically the same as making a magic ring, except of using single crochet. You're just going to incorporate some double crochets into it. As you can see, that is round 1. Now we're just gonna close the hole really tightly, make sure it's nice and tight. And round 2, as you can see there, it's seen below, basically the 3 single crochet and 1 stitch is going to be our ear. After that, after we're done with round 2, we're gonna start chaining for the strap, and I recommend you test this on Chiikawa before you fasten it off and stuff. 26 chain was for me, but feel free to alter that however you want. And now we're gonna attach it behind the ear with a slip stitch. I don't like attaching it like on the stitch, on the front stitches, like the 2 loops that we typically crochet on, because it's too visible and it's a little pouch, so I like to put it behind the ear. Just put it anywhere behind the ear, really, it's okay. I'm struggling a bit here though. Okay, sorry for the hair, but now we're just gonna fasten off, weave in the ends. I'm gonna check on Chiikawa first before I weave in the ends and stuff, but I didn't show it here. Anyway, you should do that to your Chiikawa. Now that we're done, I want to make the tiny details on the pouch. This is optional, but it just makes it like 10 times cuter, so definitely try to do it if you can. Yeah, basically just cutting felt, gluing it on, and then I'm using black thread this time because the pouch is so small and it just works. It's just gonna work a lot better, and I need a needle to pierce through like all of the layers from the bottom. The back is gonna look really ugly, but it's okay, we're not gonna see the back, so you don't have to worry about that. Yep, there you go. That's the little mouth. Don't forget to tie it off, make sure everything's secure. As you can see, very ugly back. It's okay though, we're not gonna see that part. Obviously, feel free to like redo round 1 and 2 again, and then like kind of paste it on the back if you don't want it to be seen after you're done with all the details. Like that's very much an option here too, but I'm lazy to do that. You don't need it, you're not gonna see the back. Okay, and then I use the black embroidery thread again for the eyes, just really simple eyes, like dot eyes. Well, technically they're lines, but they should have been dots. It's okay, still looks cute. There you go, he's done now. And yeah, we put it on him and he has a little pouch.